So how does this whole Rugby World Cup thing work with the pools, the knockouts, and how does it all structure together? As Father's Day here recently in New Zealand, and my wife was kind enough to get me the Rugby World Cup official book, which lists basically the way the Rugby World Cup works. I know some of you guys will absolutely know everything I'm about to say. Some of it will come as news to other people. So we'll go through a few of the things together. And you guys can let me know your thoughts on how you think the tournament might go. But Rugby World Cup's got 4 pools. Each pool has 5 teams in it. And it's the top 2 teams from each pool that progress. Looking at the Rugby World Cup this year, I mean, rugby is kind of different from football in that there are fewer upsets, but they can still happen. And you can look at these pools and get a kind of decent feeling for how you think these teams will come out of it. Like Ireland and Scotland are definitely favoured in Pool A, but there's thoughts about that Japan could, at home, potentially cause problems. New Zealand and South Africa are definitely big favourites in Pool B. There's not many people who would have money on Italy, Namibia or Canada getting out of that pool. England, France and Argentina traditionally would have probably been called the pool of death because those are 3 of the stronger teams in world rugby in that pool together, along with USA and Tonga, who can't be written off either. But still, most people would, I guess, based on recent form, England plus either France or Argentina will be the ones going through. Plus Pool D, we better talk about this one as well. I think if you'd said a few years ago, it might have been Australia and Wales pretty much guaranteed to go through. But I think in recent times, Fiji have shown what they can do as well. Wouldn't write off the Georgians, but you know what I mean. These are the pools. So the top 2 teams are going to go through. But how do they get there? You have to score points along the way, and you get points by winning games, basically. You get 4 points for a win, which is, I think, the same as most of the competitions structured in rugby. There's a few differences between different competitions, but it's 4 points for a win, 2 points for a draw, and you don't get any points for a loss unless you finish within 7 points of your opposition. So if you lose by 7 or less, you'll pick up 1 losing bonus point, which is the same, again, in a lot of competitions around rugby, whether it's club or international. And you get 1 additional bonus point if you can score 4 tries in a match. So the most you can get in one game is 5. You win with 4 tries. The most you can get in a loss is 2 points because you could lose the game, but still score 4 tries and still get within 7 points of your opponent. So you could get 2 points, and the least you can get is obviously 0. I've had a look at some past World Cups, and to be fair, the bonus points aren't generally a big deal unless there's a situation where each team takes a loss in the pool stages. So I'll give you an example from the 2015 World Cup. Australia went 4 wins in their pool, finished top. Wales went 3 wins and 1 loss, finished second, and England went 2 and 2, and they didn't make it through. So the team which didn't lose any games went through, and the team which lost 1 also went through. It kind of makes sense. The Pool C was the same. New Zealand won 4, Argentina won 3. Those 2 teams went through. And Pool D was the same. Ireland won 4, France won 3, and those 2 teams went through. So it's pretty rare, but there was one occurrence of it at the last World Cup. Pool B had South Africa, Scotland, and Japan. Each of them had 3 wins and 1 loss. In that situation, the bonus points do become the difference. In that case, South Africa went through because they had 4 bonus points, so they got 16 points. Scotland had 2 bonus points, they had 14, and Japan, despite having the same win and loss ratio as Scotland and South Africa, only managed 12 points because they didn't get any bonus points. So I wouldn't count on the bonus points being a huge decider unless you get a case that maybe in the England, Argentina, and France pool, if one of them beats the other one, then the other one beats the other one, the other one beats the other one, then they all end up with 3 wins and 1 loss. Then bonus points could be a deciding factor. However, it's still possible for Even with the bonus points, it's still possible for two teams to end up on the same points. So what happens if you've got two teams on the same points at the end of the pool stage? In that case, they pick the team between those two teams which beat the other one. So if you've managed to end up in the same points, but let's just say Argentina managed to beat France in their pool game, then Argentina would go through because they've got the win. But it could still be a draw. It could have been a draw that ended them finishing on the same points. So if it's a draw, it's the team that has the best points difference for and against for all the pool matches being ranked higher. So best points difference. Still could, in a very, very unlikely event, prove to be the same. In that case, it's the best tries difference between tries scored and tries conceded for the pool stages will be ranked higher. So it goes based on tries. It keeps going. If it's still equal after based on tries, the team who has scored more points. So forget the against, just the for. Whoever had more points, so the offensively better rather than defensively better team manages to go through. If it's still the same, it keeps going. The team who has scored the most tries in all its pool matches shall be ranked higher. So again, you're taking out the against, it's just the for. Before it was for and against for tries, then it's just tries. And if that fails to separate the teams after those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages, then they go by the Rugby World Rankings as of 14th of October 2019. That one is not going to be split. That one will have a definite team above the other. So I guess if all of you guys have seen my World Rankings videos and you say the World Rankings don't matter, there is a very, 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 very astronomically slim chance that they could be the difference between a team making it and not making it through to the knockout stages of the Rugby World Cup. So we got that sorted. For the most part, it's going to be the team that wins all their pool games that goes top of the pool, and the team which loses one game that will be second. There may be a case where 3 teams lose a game each, or there's some draws, but we will have to wait and see. Knockout stages, so you get pool winner from one pool against the pool runner-up from another pool. I did a very quick look, like it could potentially be Ireland against New Zealand or South Africa. That's a potential matchup, or it could be like England against Australia or Wales. That kind of thing could happen, but again, we'll just have to wait and see how that happens. Those matches are knockouts, so whoever finishes with the most points knocks that team out of the tournament. However, if the teams are level on points at the end of 80 minutes, they have a 5-minute break and then extra time of 10 minutes each way with a 5-minute break between those two intervals. So you get 5 minutes break, 10 minutes that way, 5 minutes break, 10 minutes that way, and then whoever's got more points at the end is the winner. Again, it could still be even after that. If it's still even after that, they go into a sudden death overtime. Kind of golden point, if you want to put it that way. So if they're still tied at the end of the interval, the end of the extra time, they have another 5 minutes break, and then a further 10 minutes of extra time. And the first team to score any points will be the winner. So expect people throw and drop goals attempts around like crazy if that were to happen. If that 10 minutes concludes and the teams are still tied, then they have a kicking competition. It just says, and it's very lacking in detail. If no winner can be declared after the end of the sudden death period of extra time, a kicking competition will be organized between the two teams. The winner of that competition shall be declared the winner of the match. So I think that's just penalty kicks usually, or is it drop kicks? They're so rare in rugby. I think I've maybe seen one, and that's like on YouTube as highlights. I don't think I watched that game live. But yeah, it's just when you get around to the forwards having to try and take kicks at goal, it gets pretty tough. So yeah, the winners of the quarterfinals runner-up and the pool winner, they face off. Half of the teams get knocked out from there. You get into the semi-finals, so you got 4 teams, and then those teams play off, separating by the same rules. The 2 winners of the semi-finals go through to the final. The 2 losers of the semi-finals go to the bronze final for the 3rd place playoff game, basically. So yeah, that's kind of how the Rugby World Cup works. There's definitely a couple of things that I learnt from the very, very, very detailed details at the bottom of the fine print. But for the most part, it works pretty much the same as most other competitions. I know the bonus point rule is slightly different from how we do it in Super Rugby, how we go, you only get a bonus point for scoring tries if you've got 3 tries more than your opponent. This one keeps it simple. 4 tries, you get a bonus point. Finish within 7, you get a bonus point. That's pretty stock standard affair. 2 points for a draw. But yeah, and all the predictions I've done a couple of predictions, one based on historical results, one based on most recent results, and in neither prediction did bonus points have any effect. Like I said, it takes a pretty special situation where there's multiple teams losing in that pool stage and nobody going through undefeated. But hey, you never know, it could happen. It's a pretty tight looking World Cup. You guys let me know your thoughts. How crazy do you think are some of those really, really, really detailed rules? But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.